Sports Show. This week we've got lots to talk about. Not first of all, Chris's lighting and his backdrop. What do you think, folks? Give us a like or a no like. I'm sure you do like it. How you doing, guys? All right?
I didn't.
Yeah. Considering we're broadcasting live in the middle of a storm, not too bad.
I know. I'm looking at the window and it's the trees are wobbling. It's coming over. Anyway, where we'll start? Let's talk golf for a start. The Ryder Cup's just finished, but will be remembered, I think, Glenn, for all the wrong reasons, won't it?
Well, it depends. I watched a fair chunk of it, and I'm remembering it for the right reasons. I hope, anyway. It was a really dominant performance from Europe initially. Day one and day two, I can't recall the last time I was ever so surprised and relaxed by a European team going over to America and playing so well, and to the point where talking to friends and we're saying, is there any point of the Sunday singles? We know America always does well in the singles, etc., but really they didn't look like they were even in it. And I think the what you're alluding to with the American fans was maybe having an effect against their own players, because they weren't cheering for their players. They were actually just kind of booing the Europeans. But then I'll tell you what, the Americans delivered big style on Sunday. No one's ever come back from more than a deficit of 4 points in the Ryder Cup, but it was looking at one point really shaky for the Europeans, but they got it over the line. And I think the previous 2 days, the efforts on that had taken out of the Europeans, but it was it can't take away or diminish from what was a brilliant performance from Europe. It's very hard to go to America and win.
Yeah, Chris, I always think playing golf, there's a lot of luck involved. Your ball can lip out of the hole. You can hit a sprinkler. You can hit the back of the edge, or it rolls into the water, or we're Europe lucky. Can you get a lot of luck in this kind of thing?
Well, I mean, if some alligator comes up and grabs your ball, then and then it's not your day. But I don't know. I just thought some of the behaviour really, it sort of overshone what was a great victory. So, people going to the booze are early, sometimes happens in Scottish football. But it wasn't a game of 3 holes, so you've got to sail for the piece. You'll pick individual bits of luck, but at the end of the day, it's both teams are starting out in the same course. So, the team that normally wins it's the one that normally deserves to. But it was quite. What would you say? It was quite an explosive atmosphere. Yeah.
The thing is, though, why did they pick Beth Page, Glenn? They knew fine New York would be very, very hostile. The fans there are not true golf fans, I don't think, by throwing bottles at players' wives and stuff. Is it? Are you like me, Glenn, that thinks this is a corporate event just gone past its sell-by date?
First question about Beth Page. They picked it because it's a very, very, very hard golf course, but they set it up wrong. And Bradley actually said it afterwards. He admitted that he set it up wrong because the privilege or the right of the hosting country is that they can actually they can set it up. They can grow the grass long in the rough if they want or not. So what they actually did was it suited the Europeans. So they did that, and they also picked it apparently because they believe the New York fans are passionate. Now, the definition of passionate in America must be different, because what they were was borderline just rude and out of order. I mean, when the chairperson of the PGA of America has said publicly that he will now apologize to Rory McIlroy and his wife because of the behavior. I mean, she was hit with a beer. What I liked was actually she carried herself with complete dignity. She never even mentioned that in the team, any of the team meetings, because she didn't want what happened to her to detract from what the team were there to do. So I thought that was really good. Really corporate, how corporate is. Any kind of large sporting event is corporate to a certain degree. If you look at the monies that are generated at all these things, you look at the amateur Olympics, and I say amateur like this, They generate like hundreds of millions of pounds, billions actually. The World Cup does exactly the same, and FIFA, they take a lot of money there. So the Ryder Cup generates a lot of money. It's less corporate on the European side. Almost all the money from the European side is plowed back into the DP World Tour and the Challenge Tour. The Europeans have made a point, which has really irritated the Americans, that they just say they don't take money for because they want to get our backs up. It's not that. The Europeans, they don't have the same access to the money the Americans have. So they know that if they're going to develop players for future Ryder Cup teams, if they're going to develop talent, they have to put money into the Challenge Tour. They have to put it into the DP World Tour. It's a pale shadow of the PGA Tour, and they know that. So this is a way for them to fund every 2 years their home tour and develop players. So I don't think it's so corporate here. It's very corporate over in America.
Chris, the reaction of Shane Lowry when he put that putt down to take them into a draw, and a draw for the European team would win it because they're the leading team, showed you the relief on the guy. He was absolutely delirious. I would like to meet him on a night out with a couple of beers. Blimey, he really goes to town with celebrations.
But it's the margins of the game as well, because you go for, it's not like football, right? You go for football, you run up the pitch, you dive in for a header or something, you're already really physically active. But with the golf, the active, especially when you're in the putting, it's minuscule. But then it goes for the absolute contrast. So, I mean, it's great telly, definitely great telly, aye.
But what do you think it was? A bit of one-upmanship. He's shown to the Americans, who were putting them under a lot of pressure, that they've just lost and we've just won.
I mean, I would have done exactly the same thing. Just hammer home your advantage, and it's the mind games. So yeah, fair play to him. Why not?
Yeah, fair enough.
Nori, could I jump in?
Aye,
for a wee sec. Yeah, no, on that one. Lowry, that's what I love about the European team. Lowry described it. The reason he celebrated like that, his own words, he said, "It's the greatest moment of my golfing career." That's what playing for Europe in the Ryder Cup means to most of the Europeans. He said, "Look, you're talking to an Irish guy who has won the Open in Ireland, and this is the biggest and best moment of my sporting career." And I think so. That's why he let it go. I mean, he probably felt really pent up because he partnered Rory a lot, and he saw the abuse that Rory was getting, etc. And that probably just added more emotion to it, kind of thing. But still, teams that go to America, European teams that go to America and win in America will be talked forever. I think the last time we did that was 2012. There's only ever been one captain who has won in Europe and then went to America and done it. Luke Donald is now a legend. I think, if I remember the stats right, Luke Donald's never lost a Ryder Cup as a player or a captain. That's phenomenal.
Aye, it's amazing. But the thing I always find, Chris, is it's like those footballers that end up at a football club. Oh, this is the best team I've ever played for. Then they move on. It's a bit like Shane Lowry. In the moment, he says, "This is the best day of my life." I wonder if winning the Open, was better or worse than this.
Well, I mean, in that day it was better because he'd nothing to compare it to, I suppose. But
True.
I mean, I'm not a massive golf fan, but I'd love to. Here's a quote by Bob McIntyre, and he says, "Right, I've played team sports all my life, and it's the same feeling you get in a bus stop paying for a shinty match as you get when you walk into that team room. There's a real family feel and a real togetherness." And he rounds it off by saying, "We're on a mission." And I mean, they are, because they're away at the other side of the world, and obviously they're not fighting a war as such, but it would be that sort of partisan atmosphere and us against them and all the rest of it. So Shane Lowry, I don't know the guy, I'm not in his head, but with a team thing, yeah, maybe it's just in the back of the sort of abuse they were getting, but it must have been because he wasn't going to be getting abuse all the way through winning that in Ireland, that's for sure. That'd been the opposite. So I suppose against that backdrop, you'll never know, but I would suspect so.
Well, Glenn, Chris brought him up. We can't miss out a Scottish sports show without mentioning Bob McIntyre. He got the abuse he got. He was called Mrs. Doubtfire. That's what they used to call Monty, but he got it this time. He got milk bottle because it's Peely Wally's skin and all the rest of it. So he had a lot to put up with, but he kind of batted it away and got himself, over the line, got a half point, and that half point secured the win.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Well.
I mean, see, most of the Europeans don't mind abuse, and I use it or banter, really, if it's creative.
Yes.
So I mean, Robert McIntyre said, I think he was called Bobby Mac and Cheese, and he liked that one. And that's creative. That's funny. It's a bit witty. You're not just saying like a lot of the Americans were just saying "f you" to Rory and all this kind of stuff. Or just like get in the bunker and just and swearing and throwing things this way. But if you actually get creative, I mean, what did the European fans say to Bryson DeChambeau? He was before he was teeing off and he was warming up. They said, "You're French." They sang, "You're French, and you know you are." With his surname, so that's fine. But I mean, on this Bobby Mack, I mean, he's already got a really good Ryder Cup record. He's played 6 matches. He's only lost 1. That's phenomenal for a guy that was quite nervous in his last Ryder Cup. And on the subject of him, by the way, we're sitting here, we're broadcasting live in the middle of a storm, etc. He has just finished a round at King's Barnes in Fife, and it's 60-mile-an-hour winds. And guess what? He is tied for the lead at the Alfred Dunhill Links on 12 under.
12 under, my goodness.
So he's just went and done that in America. He's flown back, he's come home, and he's went out there, and he said he came back to relax. He was playing with Andy Murray. And honestly, Andy Murray, by the way, what a golfer. He's only been playing for 2 years. Obviously, retirement has suited him, and he's already a 3 handicapper. His kids had said to him, "They go, Dad, are you now a professional golfer?" And he's like, "Going no," and they're saying, "Why?" He goes, "We never see you. You're always on the course." So anyway, he was playing with him, and he's done really well. But Bobby Mack is tied at the top, 12 under. They play. He's got St Andrews tomorrow, and then obviously St Andrews on Sunday. Here he could win again. It'd be fantastic.
Do you know this, Glenn? I've played King's Barnes twice, and I tell you this, that is a tough course. I played it in benign conditions, and I still didn't get under 100. Lost about 17 golf balls. My goodness, it's penal. If you land in the rough, you're 2 or 3 to get out of there. To get 12 under in the wind. Whoa.
Well, this is day 2, so it's 6 under today, and it was 6. Yeah. And it was he played. Where did they play? St Andrews, the last one. So he played Carnoustie yesterday. I played that once, and that's a tough course. He was 6 under there. He's 6 under at King's Barnes in a howling wind. So no, it's a phenomenal golf. It's a great tournament because you get all the celebs and sporting stars go there, and you've got a really a trio of fantastic Scottish courses. King's Barnes it's only been around about 20-25 years, but it's in the top 100 of world golf courses. It's brilliant.
It is. It's an amazing course. The scenery and the holes. And you get a par 3, and it's like a upside down saucer. The ball just runs away from the hole. There's no way you can land it. Unbelievable. To get any result on that course is a major achievement. But it's penal. Well, that's the golf taken care of, I guess. There's not much really we can add to it. There was nothing really amazing. I think Chris hit the head on the nail on the head with the team sports a different dynamic, isn't it? Where you get to share your glory with somebody else. In a normal match day thing, it's just the caddy and shake hands with the other guy. It's a different thing. So perhaps Shane Lowry was caught up with the team thing for that Ryder Cup.
Football. We're going to let the foot golf go, no?
No. Foot golf. We'll say a little bit about foot golf, Glenn, because we were playing it. I was introduced to foot golf. Chris, you'd love it, mate. You can play a bit of footy and try and get it in the hole, It's not as easy as you think, but it's good fun, isn't it, Glenn?
Oh, it's fantastic. I really enjoy it, and it's kind of like if you like football and you like golf, what's not to like about this? It's been going for a wee while now, and basically the foot golf course runs either on a golf course or beside the golf course, and with holes obviously big enough for the football to go in. You've got par 3, 4, and 5, and you've got tees, you kick off kind of thing. You try your best to get there. You've got obstacles, you've got water, you've got hills. There are bunkers in some of the courses, and it honestly, it's just a laugh. Mostly laughing at yourself or your mates, and not there's one. Well, we had this. There was a tiny par 3, wasn't it? But there was water over it, and everything. If you didn't get it on the green, everything ran into the water. And Julie, that's where one of us went, and but we managed to get the ball back out.
Aye, well, we did. We got a caption with a big long pole, and I was bending over to. And I haven't got them. A lot of people responded to that with good answers. Abby Duncan says, "Local man discovers new game."
Yeah,
I responded. Aye.
What was your one?
I can barely remember, but yeah, it was. We can maybe put them out next week.
Aye, we'll maybe get another caption. That was quite a funny one, I thought. But you were at the football last night. I'll come you, Chris. Did you watch any of it? Did you see any of the matches?
Aye. I saw bits of all three of them. I was actually playing as well, so it was one of my busiest nights ever. Played a match and saw bits of all three. Right.
On paper, it was a bad night for Scottish football. All teams lost, and the coefficient has gone right down. But we'll take the games one by one. Aberdeen, the best I've seen them play for a long, long time. Unlucky to come away with a loss. Deserved a draw out of that game, I thought. Chris,
I was at the game.
I'll come to you in a minute, Glenn. I'll get Chris.
Oh, sorry,
because he saw some of the games. It was a better performance from Aberdeen, I thought, Chris.
Well, there was a bit of fight. That's for sure, definitely. I think it was just the way they went at it, and I mean, I don't think Shinnie would have lasted the whole game, but obviously, Talene's saying, right, Devlin, you're captain. Him getting a goal was good, but I mean, they're playing against people. They probably forget this, but Shakhtar have had Brazilian players in their team for at least 15 years. These guys come from serious money, so there's a lot of good players in there, and they had a lot of possession. Let's be honest about it, but there was definitely a resilience about Aberdeen that I thought, when it went to 3-1, I thought, here we go, but they came back strong. And if you look at Carlson for the penalty as well, that North Sea wind just blown the ball away, and him.
I know.
That strike, I mean, no keeper was getting that. So there's definitely massive improvement, but it has to carry on, but still ends up in a defeat, I suppose, really.
Aye, but Glenn, you were there. It was a defeat, but could you see green shoots of recovery?
Yeah, I mean, Chris, first of all, you're bang on there. To put this in perspective, like Shakhtar Donetsk are 52nd in the UEFA club coefficient. Aberdeen are 204th. This is by far the hardest match that Aberdeen are going to have in the league fixtures, and they're actually all hard. We've got Aberdeen got I mean, I think the AI worked out that Aberdeen have the hardest draw of any team in the Conference League. But anyway, regardless, this was always going to be hard. You're right; they've got some superstars. We sat there right down at the front as well, and we're thank God it didn't pee or anything like that with rain. It was, but we were fine. We got a really good view of the Donetsk players. And honestly, they have got some guys. The two fullbacks and wingers, the balls they put in, the speed they move the ball at, the intelligence of their movement off the ball, it was frightening. And so we got the penalty early on, the 8th minute. Carlson took it really well. Hopefully that he'll kick on from there, because he actually had a good game. He put in really good crosses. Anyways. After that, we sat back because we couldn't get the ball. We defended really, really well, but it was nerve-wracking. It was a horrible game to watch when you're that far back. But then when they lost a couple of goals in the second half, I think it was 2 goals in 5 minutes, and it's because you had Topi Keskinen as a wing back, and he's not a defender. And he's really good going forwards. Sometimes lacks the end ball, but he can't defend. He left the boy. He nods it in, unmarked for the second kind of thing. Then the heads go down slightly. You lose the third. It's a good shot, but still he had too much space. After that, Jimmy Tilleen turned round and said, he took the handbrake off. And Aberdeen looked good, started creating chances, pressed them and all that kind of stuff, could have drawn. I think it's either a draw or a win for Shakhtar. It was fair because of the dominance they had at one point. But Yimi, if you're not listening, Yimi, or watching, but I wish you would, because honestly, take the handbrake off more often, because it is, the way that they actually played, they were booed off a couple of matches ago, Aberdeen, and this time they were applauded off. And fans will put up with a lot if they see a team trying and playing reasonably decent football. And there's a way to lose a game of football, and that was a better way to lose when you see your team have left almost everything out in the pitch. They've all worked hard. Nobody underperformed at all, etc. That was, I'd say, it was a very good performance. They need to take that second half performance into the match against Dundee, and that's the big thing. Can they do that? If they do that, it kickstarts the season.
I know. The one thing for me, Chris, the Scottish contingent of the Aberdeen team, like Nicky Devlin played out with skin. I thought he had a great game, got the goal as well. Armstrong was playing really good football in the midfield. He was cutting out balls. Jack Milne had a fantastic game. That young defender showed class. And then there was, and I thought Leighton Clarkson done really well. But the thing they did really well was game management. They knew not to ping the ball to them. They knew how to hold on to it till other players were running. I just thought it was a much more composed game from Aberdeen.
I think they knew exactly. I mean, as you say, pinging the ball, they knew that if they get in possession, then they're just going to come right back at them because they've got the skill. I mean, Glenn mentioned the fullback. The way he took that third goal, it was so smooth the way he went with it. And you were sort of hoping that Clarkson might have seen that same when the keeper made that mistake. But he just bit at it. But I mean, obviously, I'm citing maybe a negative there. But no, they definitely played with a lot more heart, I think, and it is, inspires confidence and all the rest of it. But until they start winning games, really, it's you do worry. I mean, Lazetic, I thought he looked really lively, and obviously, Italian football came for Italy. The only thing I don't like is between him, Milne, and Polvara, it's really hard to differentiate what one of them is for a distance,
I
so
know.
I'll need to get my glasses. But I mean, Aberdeen could have, maybe they didn't deserve it, but they certainly, I don't want the bad luck stories or whatever. And just back to your point about the coefficient, Glenn, I mean, you remember the year Aberdeen won it, they had to play the qualifying rounds, so that's okay. The coefficient's there for a reason, but yeah, we've won the competition when we were probably far bigger underdogs than that. So I do see green shoots, but you can't wait forever for these things. And Tilleen, I think now he's got very little to lose because that's the first goal of the season, really. So yeah, it has to change it and gamble.
Yes, that's an interesting point, isn't it, Glenn? A manager's got to take risks sometimes against other opposition. You've got to make sure, and if the risk goes wrong, you change players or you change formation. But for me, Jimmy Tilleen has a set way of playing with set players, and he's used it continuously, and it's not worked. Teams have worked out Aberdeen. So this last night was a chance to try something new, and even against Motherwell, I thought for part of that game, Aberdeen looked pretty good. But again, as Chris alludes to, it was a loss. Dundee's going to be a huge game. It's one we have to win.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I was becoming quite despondent with Yimi because he's so rigid. Normally, he's very, very rigid with his formation. Apart from the Scottish Cup final against Celtic, he always plays the same way. And then last week against Motherwell, he changed it. And we played better in that game than we have done in any other league game this season so far. And again, last night, he went the same. He played with the three centre-backs, and it gave us more attacking options. So would I have put Toppy Keskin as a fullback? No, I'd have went with the German under 21 international gift for me. But it's still it gave us better options. We had Devlin going forward and Toppy on the other side, and we created more chances. We had more crosses going in. The crosses were more accurate. Carlson was putting them in. Clarkson was putting them in the second half. We were pretty poor in the first half. We were on the back foot mostly. And I take Chris's point about, coefficient and when we won it, etc. But it was actually just making it more to illustrate that the caliber of player they've got, the money that's been spent on them. But the boy Carlson, I mean, he's up there. We were watching, and I mean, he 11 million euros Bologna paid for him. And the boy Lazatek as well, 5 million euros for him. There is undoubted talent in that squad. On paper, that squad should be nowhere near the bottom six, but it is.
Correct.
He can't win matches on paper. But I do think there's a bit of pragmatism has come into Lane's way of thinking as far as the games are concerned. I don't think you'll see Aberdeen go back to the way they were playing before. They will line up with 3 at the back again against Dundee, and they will really, really go for it. After this match, Aberdeen have got a really bad run on paper of fixtures. The matches we've had, the teams we've played recently in the league domestically, we should actually have had the best chance of winning them. After this, you start playing Hearts, Hibs, Celtic, Rangers, etc. All really, really tough matches. So, I mean, this is it.
Well,
if Yimi's going to get points on the board before the international break, he has to go for it against Dundee.
He does. Chris, when is a handball not a handball? Celtic were playing Sturm-Graz. Was it Sturm-Graz? Yeah, last night, Austrian team.
Braga. Braga. Aye.
Was it Braga? So Rangers playing Braga. The officials got that one horribly wrong, didn't they? The Celtic player going in and goal. They said he handled it. They pulled it back, looked at the monitor. I've seen that about 10 times, and I still can't see where that hand touches the ball.
No, I mean, unless he's some sort of ventriloquist coming on with the old puppet or whatever. No, he didn't touch it. Had time to look up, see where the keeper was, and slot the ball away. And I mean, me and Glenn were having a quick chat in the pre-production area, green room, and we mentioned that it did come hot on the heels of the Kilmarnock penalty that Celtic got. I mean, I'm not saying there is such a thing as karma, but it was like the exact opposite. So yeah, never a penalty. Would it have made a difference? Possibly, but again, when Schmeichel's playing the way he is just now, then you don't know. But nah, never a penalty, and made worse by the fact that the game stopped. It's pulled back. Stops the flow of the game, turns it into we're all watching the side of the park as opposed to guys that are paid to play football on it. So yeah, everything about that was wrong, I believe.
I know. And the thing was, Glenn, it was 1-0 at that point. The goal, if it stood, would be 1 each. That's a different perspective on the match itself.
Yeah, I never actually managed to watch the match. Obviously, I was at Pataudry, but I've had a chance to go over the stuff. And yeah, it would have made a difference. Would they have conceded the second goal? The second goal as well was a bit of an unlucky one as well with the rebound. But
yeah.
If you look at the stats, Braga were still the better team. So this is not a great start in the league. Callum McGregor, sorry, when I say the Europa League, McGregor's come out and said it's just not good enough, and they need to sort it. And you're right, Chris, as well. I mean, Schmeichel is not performing as he used to. He's making errors now. He's getting on a bit. Oh, yeah. Is he past his best? Probably. But how far past his best is he? There's a big question mark over his selection now. Will Brendan Rodgers stick with him? He's got a Finland international backup keeper who I think when Schmeichel he was injured towards the end of last season, he came in and he kept 5 clean sheets out of 10. So, will Schmeichel start at the weekend? I don't know. I mean, also, if you look at the stats as well, Braga were dominant as far as like shots on target. And although Celtic had possession, they weren't using it.
Well, Callum McGregor, Chris, come out and said, "Well, we've got just about a brand new team. We're trying to work each other, and it'll take time for Celtic to get back to the heady heights. Because remember, they were in the Champions League, and now they're in the Europa, and now they've not won a game there." So it's a spiral they're down. Is it down to the new players coming in, or is it a bit more than that?
I mean, there's most teams. There's a team remake every year. That's just part and parcel of the game. I think with Jota being injured, that doesn't bode well for them. But again, Taneke, that guy, he does look world class. Actually, there was a point during the game where he knew he was going to beat the guy, and everybody else in the park knew he was going to beat the guy, but yet there was no Celtic players at the front post, and he's like, "Look, where did you think this ball was going to go?" So there's, Hatate, you can see his mind's elsewhere. Maeda as well. It's just, sometimes things take time to gel, and at the minute it is, but every team more or less goes through that every year, so they're just going to have to work harder. I don't think there's any way around it. What I would say about Schmeichel is, regardless of whether he's passed it, see the ball, the footwork with the ball. You should, it doesn't matter whether you're 38, 32, or 41. The ball work, you could see he was really nervous when the ball came down to his feet. It just it didn't bode well for that point of view. I could see that, and just that guy's Sinola. I think he could certainly slot back in, but there's a definite malaise in Celtic at the minute, no doubt, and our teams can obviously smell it.
Yeah. What about Rangers, Glenn? 2-1, Sturmgrats. Everybody's saying the manager's job's in the line, but they showed good play in certain parts of the match, but they're still a bit leaky at the back.
Yeah, well, his job is on the line, well, as is quite a few managers. I mean, honestly, it's that there's never been this level of pressure ever on managers as there is just now, and every season it gets worse. So his start of the season has been horrendous, and again, the team have had a very poor performance. I never saw it again, but I've done a review of it, and the fans are unhappy. The pundits that were watching it as well. This has not been, by any stretch of the imagination, a good performance. And what kept some Rangers fans going last season was, even though they were domestically up and down, etc., and sometimes not hitting the right heights, they were good in Europe. They actually, last season, they really did actually turn in some fantastic performances against teams that they really had. You could argue that they shouldn't actually be beaten, but this season it's the complete opposite. It's they got a nervous win last week. They've not kicked on from it. Obviously, harder opponents, Sturm Graz, but I mean, Sturm Graz have been weakened as well. I mean, they lost Mac Johnson. They're not brilliant, but they're obviously on the night they were worthy winners.
Yeah. Chris, we never thought we'd say this, but where are you, Barry Ferguson? We always maligned him because he was always moaning he was going to get to Ludendorff every week, as a prize. But he actually won a few games for Rangers. He managed to get a team of sorts out of the Rangers players. It doesn't seem that this new guy has got a team. He's more or less got 11 players out there doing their own thing. It doesn't seem cohesive.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I will use the phrase green shoots. I mean, Garsama, at one point, he had 5 guys round him, so he's obviously a quality player that can score, take on players. He was quality. Raskan, again, similar quality, but if you saw their second goal, the ball, it was maybe 10 yards inside the Sturm Graz half, and it wasn't flighted into the box. It was literally laced along the ground, and the guy got to it first, and the ball was in the back of the net. I mean, honestly, see if I coached kids when I was younger, but see if kids were giving away goals like that where the ball doesn't even leave the ground. It's turning into an absolute farce. So yeah, I mean, they've got a couple of players in that, and they hit the bar, but Butland was doing his usual, just clawing balls left, right, and centre. So I think every team knows that they're there to be beaten. They know the team of last year or a couple of years ago that by hook or by crook managed to get far in the Europa League.
Yeah. Well, that was the football last night. I watched the Aberdeen game live, Glenn. I didn't see you in the crowd. I was looking for you. Couldn't see you. But really enjoyed the football from Aberdeen. I've got to say, that was from the fare we've been given from that team, Jimmy Tilleen's side. I thought that was a breath of fresh air. And I think Dundee has got to be a case of taking that forward, just like you said, and getting 3 points and starting to move up the table. The other news that happened this week, guys, was the Scotland squad was announced for the 2 games, the World Cup qualifiers at Hampden. Was there any glaring omissions, Chris, or was there some people in there you thought, what the hell is he doing?
I mean, we'll say on the back, Hanley, he's still in there and about, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, people will say Ollie Burke as well. I think we touched on that. But I mean,
yep.
I saw the hat trick he got, and it was great. But he blows off a hot and cold, to be honest. But no, I mean, I think in the main it's a fair. Hanley's still in there, but I think we've got players that he'll hang up. But they might be talking about him in 50 years or whatever. But no, I think it's a decent enough squad, to be honest.
Glenn, when I look at the goalies, Liam Kelly, there's who else is there?
Xander.
I think Xander's not in it. Craig Gordon's back.
Yeah.
And there's the other one is Gunn. Now Gunn's not playing for Nottingham Forest. Craig Gordon's coming back from injury, and Liam Kelly's not playing. We've got a real problem in the goals.
Yeah, we've also got a bigger problem because that's one of my questions in the sports quiz. So thanks for ruining that. Mind you, not that we've got to any of the quiz questions. Yeah, I know. The weak area, and it has been for a little while. I mean, we were blessed before with some of the keepers we had, but yeah, Craig Gordon again. We were talking about Schmeichel coming to the end of his career, etc. Craig Gordon can still play, but he's not played at all this season. Angus Gunn not played for his club. Actually, Angus Gunn has played more times for Scotland than for his club, and he's done okay. And Liam Kelly only played the once for Rangers, so it's not good. Although, if you look at it on paper, it's quite a strong squad. I mean, I'm quite happy with some of the players. George Hurst, I'm not too sure about, but he's young. Give him time, etc. I've always said I like Lyndon Dykes because the way we play, he holds the ball up well. He brings in the midfielders. You look at John McGinn just now. John McGinn is back on form for Aston Villa. Yep. I saw an amazing stat for McGinn. Okay, here you go. No one in the last 2 seasons has scored more goals from outside the box in European competition than John McGinn. Yeah. And he scored in 3 successive matches. And our strength is our midfield. That's where most of our goals come from. So you need somebody that can actually hold the ball up and bring them into play. So yeah, hopefully he gets a run of games and goals for his club. And we malign Grant Hanley, but to be honest, the last game he played really well. So I'm the first to say I'm really nervous when he's in the team, but nope, he played well. He's got to get it. I normally say, why is he there? Why is it not Scott McKenna? He's playing at a reasonable level as well, and he's playing week in, week out. No, but I mean, yeah. So on paper, I think it's decent. We've got some exciting young players in there. Whether Clark actually gives them a run out, I don't know. But there's definitely potential there. I mean, Lennon Miller is now playing in Serie A, and in his first full start, he got a goal. You've got Ferguson captaining Bologna. It's good. There's some real potential.
As well.
Yeah, exactly.
On paper, Chris, we've got a cracking team there if we can get the right players fit and playing on form. But again, goalkeeper, we need a good goalkeeper. Why Xander Clark's not in that squad? He must have said something to Steve Clark. He must be on his bad books, or he must have picked up a knock. I don't know, but you would have put Xander, earmarked him in for that squad just in case.
Well, maybe that's what he did say to Steve Clark. Why am I not in the squad? And then he said, "Well, here's a reason." What I would say is, Craig Gordon, I'm a big fan, and you don't. I know keeper. Well, I suppose Schmeichel. Things are literally a millimetre can be the difference between a great save and a total hen up. But he doesn't suddenly forget how to bend goals. And bear in mind, he was keeping your man out for until he get injured. So you don't lose that. And obviously he knows it's going to be his last hurrah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in there. But players not getting games for their clubs, I think it hurts you far more at keeper level than even at centre forward level, because these instincts, you really need to be honing them during a match rather than bouncing the ball about, at training, because that's great and all the rest of it, but it's no comparison.
The only goalkeeper playing, Scottish goalkeeper that's playing week in, week out is Scott Bain at Falkirk, but he was never even taken, never even considered. Is that Steve Clarke relying again, Glenn, on who he knows, not who's playing, who's on form?
He's a very cautious man, is Clarke. I think we all know that. Scott Bain's playing week in, week out. He's been a great signing for Falkirk, and I think Scott Bain's been capped 4 or 5 times already for Scotland, but obviously not by Clarke. I mean, he was third choice keeper at Celtic for a while. You can see maybe why he's doing it. I mean, we're probably going to sit back and see how he adapts to first team football. He's always been a reasonable keeper. I think he started off, if I remember rightly, he started off with Aberdeen. But I don't know. I mean, Clarke is Mr. Cautious, as I mentioned. You might see by the end of this current campaign that he's included in the squads. We're quite, there are not a lot of keepers playing at a high level for Scotland, so there's not a lot of choice. If he plays well, continues to play well for Falkirk, and he has, even though they lost quite a few goals to Hearts, he was outstanding in that match. It would have been a lot worse without him. So I could see him in the squad towards the end of the campaign.
I hope so, Glenn, because we have to take players that are on form. And by the way, Nicky Devlin showed what a good player he is when he's given a chance to play. I wouldn't discount him getting a call up as well at the last minute. Glenn, we really need to come to the quiz because we'll be firing away and we'll forget all about it. What was last week's one?
Yeah, don't worry, the quiz will be quicker this time because we've ruined one of my questions, which was about the 3 Scotland goalkeepers and which one actually had played the most. And obviously it's Kelly with just 1 game. Anyway, so last week the question was that we left it hanging for everybody was Denis Law famously won the Ballon d'Or in 1964, but which 2 Scots have finished 2nd and 3rd on the list? Scotland have had a 1, 2, 3. Who's the 2nd one and who's the 3rd place one?
Must be Kenny Dalglish. Must be in there, is he?
He is.
I don't know if he's 2nd or 3rd. Another one must be somebody like
the fat
Alan
dancer. It's got to be the fat dancer, Alan McCoist.
No, surely no.
He's been on the Ballon d'Or, but nowhere near 2nd or 3rd. But he has been on it. In fact, he was the last Scot to be on the Ballon d'Or list.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, but he was about like 22nd or 23rd or something.
Yeah. So Dalglish and somebody prolific. Usually it's a goal scorer. It's a striker.
I'll say Archibald then. That's my 1.5 guesses.
So Chris goes Gemmell.
No, Archibald.
Sorry, I meant Archie Gemmell. I thought you meant. Sorry.
Oh, Archibald. Steve Archibald.
Well, it was bald. Archie Gemmell.
He was.
I know. The only one I can think of, Joe Jordan. Something like that.
You've got the initials right.
Oh,
JJ.
Jimmy Johnson.
That's it. Jimmy Johnson came 3rd in 67, and Dalglish came 2nd behind Platini in 83. Not bad for a small country, you know. Yeah.
I know. Right. I'm just saying.
So get the next question out.
Platini's in a jail somewhere, isn't he, for frauding the UEFA? That Ballon d'Or should be handed back and given to Kenny. King Kenny, come on. Fair. Right.
Make it into a file and try and get out your cell.
Okay. So, this one's a golf one because we're talking about the Ryder Cup. Who was the only European to win his match on the final day of the Ryder Cup? So who was the only European to win his match on the final day of the Ryder Cup? So the singles.
Yeah, I know. Tommy Fleetwood lost. I think no, he lost. Who the only European? I can't remember offhand. It's a good question. Was it a continental European?
Yes.
And I can't remember.
That did narrow it down.
I know. Well, Victor had to pull out, didn't he? Because he had a bad neck, and they all started complaining because they had to have
Much to
that.
Bradley's annoyance. Yeah, he said the rule has to change, blah, blah, blah. But they've used that rule themselves.
I know. But the question itself, I can't even remember who was in the team. Any idea, Chris?
I mean, I want to say Sevi Ballesteros, but obviously that's
No,
maybe not true.
he's long. There's a guy on YouTube called Heavy Ballesteros. He does a wee golfing thing. Funny as anything. Got to laugh at him. He's from Ayrshire. Funny as anything.
Ruining courses with his footsteps probably as he goes.
No, he's a good golfer, but he doesn't think he is. And he's not got a good swing, but he hits the ball a fair way. Heavy Ballesteros. I love that.
Good name.
Aye, and he's got a pal, Snackleroy, and they're all big guys, you know.
A real foodie.
I can't think, Glenn. That's a really good one, but I cannot remember.
It's Ludwig Alberg.
Alberg.
Yeah. Amazing. An amazing golfer. So, like 2 years ago for the Ryder Cup, he was the leading amateur in the world. He only turned professional in June, and by the end of August, had qualified for the Ryder Cup.
Oh, wow!
That's just 2 months of being a professional golfer. Oh, 3 months, sorry. Yeah, that's it. Oh, honestly, the boy is something else. He's got real talent.
Yeah, he must have won a tournament or two in his first.
He won quite a few, and I think he was in the top 10 for almost everything.
Wow, good going. My goodness. Great question, Glenn. Even a week later, and I still couldn't get it, but really good question. By the way, if you want good questions from Glenn, he's got his Think You Know calendars. When are they out, Glenn?
They're in the shops in about a week. So we've got Think You Know golf, football, films, music, rugby, and the one for me, Think You Know It All.
Aye. And how much are they retailing that, Glenn? Because I know a lot of people are be looking at their wallets and thinking, you know.
They're 12 quid each. They're the little desk calendars. Sit in your desk. Every day you get a question on whatever subject is, and you get little stats and facts. Yeah. I am really that nerdy, people. Yeah.
But that's a good thing for a sports show. Honestly, it really is. So where are we? I guess we've got the games coming up this weekend. There's a full. I don't think the weather's cancelled any matches yet, has it? There's none.
Not yet, as far as I know.
No.
United against Livy. Dundee United playing really good football, Chris. Without a Scotsman, hardly. And Livy. Could have taken Rangers to a draw, but a last minute goal was their undoing. It's a tight league, isn't it? Any team can beat the other, home or away. It's apart from Aberdeen lately, but football's at a really high level. I think this one will go though.
Well, they get done last week, so I mean, they're still doing okay in the league, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Livy will feel aggrieved, definitely, the way they managed to somehow do the Scotland and snatch defeat for the jaws of victory. So they'll obviously not be pleased about that. But I'm going to do my stalwart and do my 1-1 draw. I always like to start off with a 1-1 draw.
Do you know what, Glenn? Livy are a difficult team to break down. They tend to defend in numbers. And Rangers were lucky the ball just fell to one of their players. It could have went anywhere, but it went to him. That's the luck of the game, I guess. Can Dundee United overturn them? They're at home.
I'm going to burst Chris's bubble because Dundee United haven't had a home a draw in their last 13 league matches. So I don't think it's going to be a draw. Livy, stuffy, difficult to beat, unlucky in a lot of games. Mind you, I think their only win came against Aberdeen, so that was gifted to them. United have played; they've played quite well, but I mean, it's 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So you don't honestly know who's going to turn up. They got beat by Killie last week, so I'm not sure. You know what? I'm actually going to come out and say that Livy are going to get the result. I think they're going to win 1-0. It won't be exciting for a neutral. But I think Livy will do enough to get a win. 1-0 for Livy.
I always think a team like Livy, Chris, if they get the first goal, that's it. It's up to you to break them down. And at one each, it took to the last minute to break them down. So they're a hard team to get past. But the way I see this, Dundee United, I hate to say it, Glenn, but you don't like Jim Goodwin for what his tenure at Aberdeen, but I think he's doing a cracking job at Dundee United.
Yeah,
he's got almost like the team he had with St Mirren, very fit, very agile, passing, and very, very quick to break the play up. I'm going to go Dundee United 2-0. I just think Livingston will be really up against this team, and I don't think they're going to hold out. Once they get the big guys firing, Dundee United will take this 2-0. They've got fast players up front. 2-0 for me. What did you say, Chris? One each?
Aye.
And Glenn, you're going a Livy win?
1-0 to Livy.
0-1. So somebody's got to get something out of that. We've all got different permutations. So that seems like a good game on paper. Killie, St Mirren. Chris, Killie will be wanting revenge over the cup game. Penalties, they got put out. It's a home game for them, but on paper, again, this looks like a cracker.
I mean, I'd be hoping for a high scoring draw with this one, but I don't know. I think St Mirren have probably get just about enough, even though I know it's on the AstroTurf. I think St Mirren have probably got enough. I think they might nick it 1-0.
1-0. So Chris is going 1-0. Glenn, what do you think?
I'm conflicted here. Killie have got a cracking record at home against St Mirren. I think they've not been beaten in 12 matches at home by against St Mirren. But St Mirren, last time they played them, and it obviously was away. In the league. 5-1, very, very convincing. I like Michael Mandron as well. He is on fire for St Mirren. I like the way, I said this last time we were speaking about St Mirren. I like the way they play, I like the way they set up. They're really hard to beat, and they've got pace in abundance to hurt you. Head says Killie will get a draw. Heart says more than likely it's going to be a win. I'm going to go St Mirren. 2-1 to St Mirren.
2-1. I'll write all these down. 2-1. Do you know this? Shamal George, the ex-Livy goalie, is playing out of his skin for St Mirren now. He's clawing back destined goals, and he's using his body well. He's got a good distribution. He's transformed himself to being an average kind of goalie to being a top goalie. You know, I wonder if he's got a Scottish granny or something. We can get and Gogic is or Gogic, the Cypriot guy, the other baldy. He's playing out of his skin. I don't know. I think they should have a drugs test on that guy after every match, because there's something supernatural about him. The way he's getting about the pitch, it just seems unnatural. He's got a new lease of life. I don't know how come. But then Kettlewell's got a really balanced team, and they're young, and they can do it. Do you know this? I'm going to go Killie. I'm going to revenge is on the cards there, and I think it's a home game on the Astro. I think it's going to be 2-1. They'll nick it. Very tight. The big one, the big Edinburgh derby. Now, Hearts versus Hibs. Glenn, what do you reckon?
Well, it's match of the weekend, isn't it? Whatever you look at this in this game, it's brilliant. Okay, so you've got Hearts, okay, looking to extend their lead to 5 points before Celtic play. You know, I mean, Celtic might come a cropper, you never know. So they've got that. Hibs, they're looking to, for the first time in over 100 years, I think it is, to win 3 derbies in the row. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be a great atmosphere. You've got second top scorer Shanklin for Hearts. They've got the joint third top scorer. You've got Bowie, joint third top scorer for Hibs. There's going to be goals. Well, actually, you know what? I'm probably jinxing it. I'm excited to watch it. It's on TV, and it's probably going to be a dull 0-0 turgid game with in the wind and everything, and everyone kicking the ball high. And oh no. But on paper, I think this is fantastic. I think you got to look at it and see, can Hearts handle the pressure? Okay, so they've been talked up by their new like minority owner. The boy that's come up from Brighton. He says, "Oh, we can put a challenge in, etc." Kind of thing. The fans are starting to buy into it. They're seeing themselves at top league. The fans are probably going through the kind of same emotions that Aberdeen did last season, kind of thing, sitting top there. But we never got away from Celtic. They've got a gap on Celtic, you know. So there's an expectation. The Hearts fans are going to go into this game, and they always want to win it because it's a derby, but they're going to go in there saying, we need to win it because we have to win every game. Can the Hearts players, can the likes of Braga, who's been fantastic for them, you know, can he actually do it under pressure? I really want to watch him because, I mean, he looks dangerous almost every time he's got the ball, you know, but there'll be a lot of questions answered about them. This is their biggest test of the season so far. I mean, Hibs, I've not spoke much about them. I mean, they're on a, you know, they're unbeaten. They've got, like, I think it's 5 draws in a row, and they've got a win as well, kind of thing. I mean, I think the win came against us. Everybody's win came against us, so you know, we should just give points away. But can they actually, you know, can they get the 3 in a row? Their fans be up for it. Sometimes, you know, it's a cliche, but form goes out the window when it's a derby.
I know. Aye.
I'm not sure.
Prediction,
so come on, guys, persuade me.
Prediction.
Okay, well, if I have to make them go for something, I'm going to go. I don't think Hearts fans will hate me, and I've got a couple of mates that are really big Hearts fans. So if they're watching, I apologise in advance. I am going to say that Hibs will win this 3-2.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you all those questions, Chris, about is it more pressure on Hearts because they're up challenging Celtic? They're in between the two. Probably at the end of the year, it'll be Rangers will come back at some point, new manager, etc. But can they maintain that lofty position?
Well, I did like what Glenn said. You know, Hearts fans buying into it. I think that's quite apt, given the controversy about getting around in at the game. But I mean, what I would say is, I think you've got to wholeheartedly praise Edinburgh Fitba. You know, they're top of the league, then potentially third, really, if you take a fourth, if you take goal difference. So, you know, if you take the goal difference. So that's, I mean, this time last year, I think it was bottom and second bottom. So fair play. First things first, I'd mention that. But with this game, I think the amount of goal scorers, you know, Boye, Bowell, is Kazidris, I think, is it in Chandler? I'm hoping there's. I'm nearly going to go the same score as Glenn, but I think it'll be an absolutely smashing 3-3 draw. I hope
3-3. Wow. Yeah.
Good advert.
It will. I hope it is,
Brilliant.
Glenn. Do you know this? There's great players that can win games. Cammy Devlin is one of the players that has to be careful because he's got a hot head in him. And if he does any rash things and he gets sent off for 2 yellows, which he has done in the past, that could really hamper Hearts. The great thing about him, he's just been called up to the Australian squad, so he's on a bit of a high. Harry Milne, I've been watching this guy. It's almost like the Hearts fans are now saying they don't miss Penrice because this guy, Harry Milne's come in. Absolutely brilliant player. Just doing the business for them. Stephen Kingsley, I don't know what the team's going to be for tomorrow, but Hearts have got a really strong squad. And I think because of that, and I think they've got the better manager who's been over the coals before, and he's playing it down this game. I'm going for a Hearts win. I'm going the other way. I'm going 3-2 Hearts. I think they'll edge it.
We've done that again. We've went win for one, win for the other, and a draw. We're covering all the bases in almost all the matches. None of us can agree.
I know. None of us can win. None of us can lose.
I could have told you that before the show.
I know. Aberdeen Dundee, this is the one we've been talking about earlier. It's a must-win for Aberdeen, Chris, on the back of that European game. If you're wanting to show any credentials, you've got to win this game. If you want the fans on side, you've got to win this game.
I think that the final vapours of goodwill are just starting to fade out now, and Tillene has to keep the change. You know, keep the change and do that because he can talk till he's blue in the face. But I think Aberdeen will have enough. Carlson, I thought the composure he had, and just the way that, we were talking about, well, Glenn was talking about last week about the amount of crosses, just, aimless, players not getting on the end of them, all the rest of it. So straight away, you've got a guy like that, and obviously Stuart Armstrong. So I think Clarkson, he's getting an odd chance now. So yeah, I think he'll change it, and I might as well say it. I think Aberdeen might win 2-0.
Aye. Glenn, what do you think?
Oh, we're gonna jinx it because I'm thinking this might be where we get our first win. Okay, before I say that, it's a must win for Aberdeen, but it's a must win for Dundee too. If you look at it, Dundee have won just one game this season. The manager Presley is under a lot of pressure, and they're playing awful football. And I mean that. This is a shocking stat. So Dundee have had the fewest shots of any team in Scotland in the top flight. I mean, Aberdeen have been bad, but that's awful to watch it. If you marry that up with also they have had the most shots against them of any team, so they are not in a happy place just now. Now, normally, if your team are not playing well, Aberdeen are the team you want to meet because you'll get 3 points and it'll cheer everybody up, etc. With this one, I don't know. I think Aberdeen. I hope Aberdeen. I pray Aberdeen have turned the corner. I agree with Chris. We were talking earlier about some of the players now starting to click, putting in quality balls. Carlson hopefully takes confidence from scoring a penalty. He actually had a really good game. Armstrong was strong. We didn't have time to talk about it, but you mentioned the Scottish players in the team that were playing well, etc. And Nicky Devlin, and you mentioned Jack Milne. I actually thought Nicky Devlin got man of the match, and it'd be hard to argue with that, but I would actually say Jack Milne was better. And they were two top quality performances from those guys. I think we're looking, if we go with the three at the back with the two wing backs, Aberdeen will be solid there. They'll have an easier shift against Dundee. They've got to get the attitude right. They've got to turn up. Devlin came out and said, there's no point playing and putting in a good performance against Shakhtar unless we go and get the points against Dundee. I like that. I mean, I often say, don't do your talking, in these interviews, etc. Do it on the pitch. But I think I think they'd be really up for it. Shinnie was saying as well that the players have not given, 100% for whatever reason, etc. And they've shortchanged Thielen and the fans, and they want to prove them wrong. Well, here we go. And if they don't do it in this match, honestly, I reckon the fans will turn in huge numbers. So can Aberdeen handle the pressure? They did against Shakhtar, but that was because they were complete underdogs. Can they do it where the fans will be expecting and hoping them to get a result? Also, can Dundee do it? They're playing the bottom team. It's going to be an interesting game. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals. I'm going to go 1-0 Aberdeen.
1-0. I think Aberdeen are defending better, apart from Keskinen. He's not a defender, but with Milne at the back, I'm not sure if Malloy's still injured. He's a good player when he's playing. Dorrington's a really good player as well. We've got a really good keeper. I can't see Dundee on their present form and their present team and their present manager winning this game. I just cannot see it. And I think I think the Aberdeen crowd might just get on the nerves of the Dundee players. For that reason, I'm going for a 2-0 win to Aberdeen. So we're all going for an Aberdeen win. Me and you, Chris, we're the same. The first time this week. Celtic Motherwell. This is going to be a cracker because Motherwell are playing out of their skin. They have got a superb team, and this manager has got them ticking over really nicely, Chris.
I mean, I've been talking to a few guys at the Fives, and some of them are in the Welsh Society, and they're saying that they like the guy. That he's very open, like most Scandinavians, I suppose, very open and personable, and they're able to, when they turn up at the meetings, they can, they're given free rein to ask what they want, and the guy's honest about it. So that a lot of people are buying into it, and there's a lot of positivity around the place. So obviously they're buoyed by their win last week. But as Glenn says, sadly most teams are taking 3 points off Aberdeen. But I see Motherwell will definitely at least score. I'm thinking Celtic will do their usual lacklustre. They'll be kind of nervous at the back with the uncertainty about Schmeichel if he plays. So I would think a decent, strong Motherwell performance, maybe 2-1 to Celtic.
2-1. Glenn, I watched them against Aberdeen, and players that I really liked. Elliot Watt, amazing player. And Callum Ward in goals, very assured. He's the second goalkeeper. Jordan McGee, Stephen Welsh, ex-Celtic player. He's had a new lease of life as well. He's playing out of his skin, from what I remember him doing with Celtic. And do you know what? All over that team, there's a Stamatilopoulos, Greek name. I'm not even going to attempt it, right? Stamatilopoulos or something. I wish he had a shorter name. Stam. We'll call him Stam, but he's a good player, good striker. And Zach Robinson, Callum Hendry, Colin Hendry's son.
Yeah,
he's been around. He's coming on to form. Reagan Charles Cook played with Ross County when they were in the Premiership. Amazing player. He stepped up though. I honestly think Motherwell, even at Parkhead, can take a point at least off Celtic. And do you know what? I'm going for a 2-1 Motherwell tomorrow.
Big shout,
yes. I've seen Celtic in Europe. Thought they were leaking all over the place. There's players in that team that don't even want to be there. They're looking for a way out. Mateta, Maeda. I mean, they look half a yard off it. You know what I mean? And I think this manager, Motherwell, can, like a chess match, can piece his way through another team. Honestly, I think Motherwell are going to take the points here. Chris?
Aye. I thought like a hard fought out 2-1 to Celtic. But I think Motherwell will score. I think they've got enough to trouble Celtic's defence.
Oh.
I think so. And the last game, Rangers.
I've not said anything. Sorry. I agree with what you're saying. I didn't mention it. I didn't speak in this one, but I think it. Oh, don't worry. It's just like being at home. I'm always ignored as well there. Elliot Watt, I totally agree. So as annoying as it was watching somebody play that well at Pittodrie, who isn't an Aberdeen player, it was also good. I really, really hope that he's an Aberdeen, he's a Scottish guy. So I mean, I can see him at some point getting capped for Scotland. He was so accurate. He soaked up so much of the ball, something like 110 passes, 102 of them bang on as well. Of all the Motherwell players, he was the most that it was in the final third as well. If he plays well, and I think he will, because he's been consistent so far, and the other guys perform as they can, with the vulnerability of Celtic, two draws in the opening 6 matches, that's unusual for Celtic, and then not playing well in Europe, and they don't look like they're playing as a team. You've got some guys coming out and sniping as well. I don't think Motherwell win, but I do think they'll get a draw. I think 1-1.
1-1. Wow. So that we're all different again. I'm the outlier. I'm going for a Motherwell win. Sometimes football's funny like that. You see Celtic on the way down and Motherwell on the way up, and you think they've got half a chance. So that's what I'm backing. Falkirk at home to Rangers, last not least. Again, you would think this is a match that Rangers ought to win, Chris.
Well, European hangover and all the rest of it, but I believe it's better for Rangers just not to be at home, just to get take some of the pressure off them. I think they seem to perform better that way just now, because there's very few like Raskan, he'll show for the ball, but just there isn't really a lot. Garsama will, but there isn't really a lot they know that are taking responsibility, and they're playing a team at the lower end of the league, so they should be. But away from home, I think they'll go on better. But John McGlynn, he's been through this a million times, so he's the wily old fox. I don't see Rangers losing this. Probably maybe 2-0, I'm thinking.
2-0 Rangers. Yeah. Glenn, what do you think?
Well, there'll be goals. Here's an amazing stat for you, okay? Rangers have now set what would be an unwanted new club record of 23 successive away matches in all competitions without a clean sheet. That's three managers have done.
Wow.
It's been Clement, Ferguson, and Martin. But that's for them, that's unbelievable. That's just that's how leaky they are. So they're away from home against Falkirk. Falkirk, I mean, Bain's going to be busy. I think he'll play well. I'm thinking I'm erring towards a score draw here. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Well, I think Rangers are so shaky, really shaky, and I don't think that manager instills confidence. He's always quick to blame players rather than his own tactics or the referee or something. He goes to his players. Falkirk will never have a better chance of beating Rangers on Sunday. They won't. And going to that tight ground, it's a plastic pitch as well, where the ball runs faster. They're used to it. Can Rangers? I reckon there's going to be a draw here. I think, and it won't be enough to keep the fans off the guys back. I'm going to go 1-1 as well. Falkirk, Rangers. And I think Falkirk will be happy with that.
Definitely. Final question.
The last question goes to you, Glenn, to hang over to next week.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you think it's a cracker. Here we go, guys. Right. Which 5 Scottish clubs have reached the semi-finals of the European Cup Champions League?
5 Scottish clubs.
Yeah, have reached at some point in their their time. They've reached at least the semi-final of the European Cup / Champions League. It's been called different things at different times. So if there's 5 Scottish clubs have done this,
right?
Which 5?
5 Scottish clubs who have at least reached the semi-finals in the Champions League,
the European Cup / Champions League. Yeah.
Right. European Cup / Champions.
So not the Cup Winners' Cup, not the UEFA Cup or blah blah blah. It's got to be the European Cup / Champions League. 5 Scottish clubs.
Well,
I personally think it's fairly impressive.
That's a good question, because I can only get Celtic, of course, won it. Who else has been up there? Chris, any ideas?
Yep. I think
Dundee United get far. Was that in the? I can't remember if that was Cup Winners or European.
I think it was UEFA. I think against Stock. Or was that the final? Can't remember. Jesus, there's been that much past success.
We should get it, but it's a good question, Glenn, isn't it?
Yeah. No Googling, guys. No Googling.
No, I won't. I'll try and figure this out in my own head. But we'll put that up on. I'll put this up on Twitter and all the social media. By the way, can we just thank all 3 of us? Cheryl Murphy done our caricatures.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheryl, thanks very much for the double chin.
And thanks for straightening my teeth out. My goodness. Chris, you'll need to send in one, but we've only got 3 of us on the bikes, which I think are the best ones.
I'll get one in. I'll send one in.
What was
Guys,
that?
we should play foot golf together and get a picture there.
We should do. But the thing I want to know is, why have you 2 guys got kilts on in the bike picture? You've got mini kilts on.
We're proper Scottish and you're not.
Sharon Stone's moment.
I don't know. I think it's AI's just done it. Got a bit of tartan put use. And you have got the helmets now, haven't they? Have you noticed that?
No.
See? We should put that up and spot the difference.
Noddy, our heads need protecting. They're very valuable.
And mine's, isn't it? Aye. Right, before I get slaughtered anymore, that's all we've got time for. But we'll all be back next Thursday, all being well, our usual slot. We had to make it a Friday, which I prefer, actually. I prefer a Friday.
Near at the games.
Near at the games. What about you, Glenn?
Yeah, I prefer Friday too.
Yeah, me too. Let's make it Fridays, eh?
Yeah.
Right, we're on. We'll be back next
That means
Friday,
we can all go to the Aberdeen games when we go all the way to the final.
Aye. Dream. Right, that's us. We've got to go now.
Okay.
All the best, guys. I'm going to get my
All
supper.
the best. Have a nice weekend, guys.
You too. Bye now.